Hello everyone and welcome to the It's Funny to Tears channel. Today we're diving into a story that proves just how spectacularly things can go wrong with a single, tiny, misread email. This isn't just a typo story. This is a tale of cascading chaos, accidental genius, and a lesson I'll never ever forget. So picture this. I'm working at a bustling marketing agency. Deadlines are flying, coffee is the main food group, and everyone's juggling a dozen projects. My boss, let's call him Mr. Henderson, was a stickler for details. He was the kind of guy who'd notice if you used an N- instead of an M- in a report nobody was ever going to read. A bit intense but brilliant. We were in the middle of a massive campaign launch for a new energy drink called Volt. The slogan was "Unleash Your Power." Cheesy, I know, but it was the 2010s. One Tuesday afternoon, an email from Mr. Henderson lands in my inbox. The subject line, "Urgent. Volt campaign adjustment." My heart immediately does a little tap dance of anxiety. Urgent emails from him usually meant I'd be working late. I open it and it's a short, cryptic message. Need to pivot. The campaign needs more pep. Add some zest. Go big. Report back EOD. Pep? Zest? What does that even mean in marketing terms? I'm picturing lemons, oranges, maybe some spicy chili peppers. I read it again. Add some zest. Okay, I can work with this. Clearly, he thinks the current campaign is too bland, too corporate. He wants something that pops, something with a bit of, well, zest. My mind started racing. What's the most zesty thing I can think of? I reread the email a third time just to be sure. Add some zest. The words seemed to glow on the screen. This was my chance to shine, to show some real creative initiative. I thought, he doesn't want another boring PowerPoint presentation. He wants action. He wants me to go big. Challenge accepted, Mr. Henderson. So I start brainstorming. Zest. Pep. It's got to be fun, energetic, and memorable. What's more memorable than a complete surprise? I decided the campaign needed a real-life injection of energy. My grand idea? A flash mob. But not just any flash mob. A citrus-themed flash mob. I imagined a group of dancers dressed as giant lemons and limes, suddenly appearing in the middle of a busy city square, dancing to some high-energy music, handing out samples of Volt. It was bold. It was unexpected. It was zesty. I spent the next 2 hours in a frenzy of activity. I called a choreographer I knew. I need you to create a simple, high-energy routine for about 20 dancers, and they need to be dressed as fruit. Yes, fruit. Lemons, specifically. How soon can you do it? Luckily, she was as eccentric as I was and jumped at the idea. I then called a costume shop. Hi, I have a strange request. I need 20 giant lemon costumes by Friday. Yes, this Friday. Money is a secondary concern. I was on fire. I drafted a budget proposal that was, let's say, optimistic. I scouted locations via Google Maps, picking the busiest intersection downtown. I was so caught up in the go big mentality that I completely forgot to ask anyone else for their opinion. Mr. Henderson said go big, and I was going stratospheric. This would be legendary. People would talk about the great Volt Lemon uprising for years. By 4:45 p.m. I had a full-fledged plan, a signed choreographer, a costume order confirmed, and a detailed plan of action. I typed up a quick summary, attached the budget, and with a triumphant click, sent it to Mr. Henderson. The subject, Urgent, Volt campaign adjustment. Zest initiative activated. I leaned back in my chair, beaming with pride. I hadn't just reported back. I had delivered a masterpiece. A minute later, my desk phone rang. It was Mr. Henderson's extension. My smile widened. This was it. The call where he tells me I'm a genius and promotes me on the spot. I picked up. Hello, Mr. Henderson, did you see my plan? There was a long pause on the other end. So long, in fact, that I thought the call had dropped. Hello, I said again. Then I heard a sound I had never heard from him before. It was a slow, strangled wheezing like an old engine trying to turn over. Are you serious? He finally managed to say, his voice strained. Lemon? Flash mob? My confidence wavered for a split second. Yes, it's zesty, it's big, it's exactly what you asked for. Another long, painful pause. My email, he said, and I could hear him clicking his mouse. My email said, "The campaign needs more pets. Add some pets. PETS. My blood ran cold. I scrambled to open my sent folder, my hands suddenly clammy. I stared at his original email. And there it was. Plain as day. My brain, in its caffeine-fueled, deadline-dazed state, had somehow swapped the P for a Z and the T for another's. He didn't want zest. He wanted pets. He wanted to include cute animals in the ads. Puppies. Kittens. The oldest, most reliable trick in the advertising playbook. Oh, I said. It was all I could manage. My grand, zesty, revolutionary idea was based on a complete and utter misreading. I had just committed thousands of company dollars to an army of dancing lemons based on a typo my own brain had invented. Mr. Henderson started laughing. It wasn't a happy laugh. It was a desperate, on the verge of tears laugh. You were going to unleash a citrus flash mob on the city because you thought I wanted zest? He gasped. You spent how much on lemon costumes? I wanted the floor to swallow me whole. My face was hotter than the surface of the sun. I mumbled the budget figure. He just kept laughing, a strange, hysterical sound echoing down the line. I was preparing my resignation speech in my head. My career was over, destined to be a cautionary tale told to new hires. After what felt like an eternity, his laughter subsided into a deep sigh. You know what? He said, his voice surprisingly calm. Cancel the pets. I was stunned. What? I've been looking at your plan, he said, and I could hear a new tone in his voice. It's insane. It's completely unhinged. It's ridiculous. He paused, and honestly, it's brilliant. Nobody would be expecting it. Let's do it. And so, we did. The following Friday, 20 people dressed as giant lemons descended on a packed city square and performed a perfectly choreographed dance. People were confused, then amused, then they were filming it on their phones. The Volt Lemon Mob went viral. It got more press than we could have ever dreamed of. It was weird, it was memorable, and our sales for Volt skyrocketed. I didn't get fired. In fact, I got a promotion. My monumental blunder had accidentally become my greatest success. The whole office called me the Zest Queen for about a year. Mr. Henderson, from that day forward, started double-spacing his emails and using a larger font, and I learned a very valuable lesson. Always, always double-check your emails. But also sometimes, a little bit of accidental zest is exactly what you need. What's the biggest misunderstanding you've ever had at work? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to It's Funny to Tears for more. We'll see you in the next video.